I can imagine very few things in life that would carry a greater sense of accomplishment than building your very own home with your own two hands. And this week we travel to France to meet an inspiring woman who has done just that, and all right in the middle of a global pandemic.
Hello, my name is Bérangère. Welcome to my tiny house, La Belle Idée, in French, the beautiful idea. I decided to live in a tiny house 2 years ago because I was traveling for almost 4 years and I felt I really needed a home, somewhere to come back. I didn't have a lot of things. I just had a car and a few boxes full of pots and books. So a small house was pretty much the best way of living for me. And also because I couldn't choose at the time where to settle, so a tiny house on wheels would be perfect. I wanted a house that I could be able to build by myself. Here in this village there is a warehouse which allows people to build tiny houses, and I met a ton of beautiful people, so I decided to stay here for a bit. The house is 6.50 meters long, 2.55 meters large and 4.20 meters high. I didn't make strong choices about the external coating of the house, but I wanted something simple and strong and kind of bright because I was a bit concerned about the heat in the summer. So I chose large wood panels and a galvanized steel roof to reflect a bit the sun in the summer. And I also choose green for the paint because it's a color of the area, the green Provence. So the house is grid connected, but I choose to have a stove and gas inside. So if I run out electricity, I can heat and cook and even have a warm shower. I don't have a rainwater collection, but it's a project. I think in a few months I will. Now let's have a look inside. So welcome inside. I wanted a simple design, very bright and spacious. So everything here is open. The walls are made of pine wooden panels. I worked the wood myself to make them. I chose the white painting to open up the space. I really wanted natural materials and also use a lot of reclaimed materials. I really wanted to build this house on my own, but I didn't know nothing about construction. So I went volunteering to help few construction of tiny houses to practice a bit, you know. The project for me was really to live a big human adventure, actually. I wanted to have a lot of friends coming for construction and build the entire house in 3 weeks with all the volunteers. But because of COVID and the national lockdown, we just had 1 week of construction together. So everybody went home and I had to build it by myself. So one day after another, I started to do things, and at the end I did it. So it took me a year, but it was like I wanted, a great adventure. I'm not really a fancy person, so I really wanted a house like me. So everything is simple. I just follow my heart and logic, and I only created things that I could repair. So I didn't mean to create an atmosphere or decoration, I just gather all the things I loved, which have stories or which are gifts, and the books I remember I love to read it and I want to maybe share with some friends. And of course, plants and natural elements everywhere. And I also love mirror because they create some perspective, so there's a few in the house. I met a carpenter who became a friend, and he gave me those beautiful shelves. It's a chestnut tree. I have a lot of books, so it was a bit hard to cut the stock in half. So this is the living room. I really wanted a space which is open to the outside. So I designed these two big windows where I can watch the mountains all the day. And I created the couch also. It's convertible to a double bed, so I can have friends staying over. And there is 3 big compartments just down. It's very comfy, and I can even see the stars when I'm sleeping here on the night. And I also made all the cushions. A friend told me how to sew. I love learning things. The building of this tiny house was always learning things every day. Over there we have the kitchen. So it's made from reclaimed materials, most of it. For example, the working surface is created from leftovers of the chestnut floor. And it's important to me to have 4 burners and a oven because I love to cook. And because I was worried about the weight of the tiny house, I also choose to have curtains everywhere instead of drawers or cupboards. So it's curtains I made with a friend who taught me how to sew. It's made of linen. The sink is a gift of a friend, and the dishes is from second-hand shops, or I bought them during my trips around the world. So it's a rather simple kitchen, but I have everything I need. So on the other side there is the dining room. It's a place I love to have my breakfast. It's also a desk. This table is made of leftovers also. It's made of oak tree, and you can add a piece of wood and then have dinner for 6 people. Those 2 chairs have a beautiful history because they are coming from my grandmother, who is 92 years old now. So she had made them for her wedding. They have almost 75 years old. And then there is the fridge, which I turn off in winter. So I'm trying to follow the zero waste movement. So everything I buy in the grocery store are put in those jars, which are actually coming from my grandmother. And it's beautiful on shelves in the kitchen. I love it. And this is the door of the bathroom, which is coming from a wardrobe. I sanded it for 3 days, and I just decided to keep it that way because it's nice and because it was already 3 days of sanding. It was enough, 3 days of sanding for a door. But at the beginning it was that color, a really old yellow, and I started to sand it and I discovered the first color, the green, and then I continued to sand it. It was blue and then purple, and I discovered 4 colors at the end. So I wanted to be able to see the 4 colors and the wood below. And this is the bathroom. So I just designed the composting toilet to be able to put it on the outside when it's spring and summer. And I designed this piece of furniture with the sink, with a walnut wood. And the shower, it's actually a regular shower. People usually ask me why I put the windows instead of a mirror just in front of the sink. And I think it was just because when I brush my teeth, I don't want to see my face. I prefer to watch nature outside. Shall we have a look to the bedroom now? So this is the bedroom. There is a dressing for clothes and the small shelves below with some books. And the wood I found in the river. And I decided not to close the bedroom with a wall to give it possibility to be open if I want to. I don't spend much time into the bedroom, so I made it simple. I just designed it to be able to sit in the bed and be able to read. So I've been living here for 8 months now. It's gonna be my first winter, and I love living in it because it's comfy, it's bright, it's calm. I can welcome people. It's really a place where I can unwind. This tiny house cost me 24,000 euros and 16,000 euros of materials and 8,000 euros for the workshop at the beginning and the roofer. I paid the roofer to help me. So it's really not expensive, it's kind of cheap. And this is because I made most of the construction by myself. It wasn't often easy to build a house. You know, sometimes I was thinking with my tool, it was so cold outside in the warehouse. I was talking to myself, why I am not just buying a house, a normal house somewhere. But it taught me that if you have time and enthusiasm, you can do it. I'm really grateful for this adventure also because it taught me how to transform constraints into opportunities. I think the biggest gift that the tiny house offered me is the understanding that I'm able to build a house on my own. Because when I started the project, I was sure I couldn't do this alone. I asked for support, and life, you know, COVID, but life made this happen. And it's, wow, it's just, okay, I can do this. So I can do almost everything I want if I have time. And I remember the first night, I felt that it was the first step of something more ambitious. I learned that I'm a powerful woman, after all. I want to share this with women. I want to create workshops for them, to put tools in their hands, to teach them how to use the machine and make them realize that if they want to, they can do it. They can build their house by themselves. Because once you get the confidence, the self-confidence, everything is possible. Yes, girls, if you want to build your house on your own, you can do it. You can do it. It takes time, but it's possible.
Bérangère has done an incredible job in building a home that she can truly be proud of. I love the sense of accomplishment that she has wrapped up in her home and the way that she now wishes to inspire others to follow in her footsteps. What a beautiful home she's created, and what a beautiful lesson in what we can all accomplish when we set our minds to a task.